Good morning, everybody. It's a very international group here today. A very warm welcome here. I have my colleagues with me, and I'm happy you joined me here. Let's start with Joshua Schäfermeier. I checked it. I had to check it, Josh, on your LinkedIn. Was it 5 years with STEAG already?
Yes,
so many projects, many functions there. And today I ask you to really share with us the project perspective, right? What you are working with, those things that we are looking in a second here. The eagle view, what do you do in the morning there? We will have a look at that. And also, Simon, thank you also for joining us. You're another colleague of another department, I think about 7 years with STEAG already. Time goes by so fast. And we are preparing another web seminar for all of you, so please make sure to sign up for that if you're interested. The other one with Simon will focus on the waste to energy branch. And we will also share some insights there, some practical examples and so on. So but today it's the eagle's view. Many systems are in place. SCADA systems, DCS systems can do a lot, but colleagues like Joshua are supposed to give actionable information. And that is today what we will look at for 1 hour. Before we go into the feedback function that we have here today, we will take another 15 minutes maybe after the seminar for additional questions. But please, today it should be very interactive. If you have questions, put them in the chat. And Simon, maybe you can let us know what happens with the chat here and how that works.
Yes, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. You can find it on the right side of the EduDip window. Only the moderators of this session can see your messages and your questions. I will collect them. Maybe I will summarize them, and I will ask them at the appropriate place and time. And yes, hopefully the web seminar will be very interactive. And if there are any questions left at the end, our experts, Joshua, Dennis, or maybe my person can answer them.
Great, thank you. Yeah, that's good to know. We have many people here, so please make use of the chat function. Also, if we ask questions, feel free just to say one word or a number. Just let's keep it interactive here, and let's start with some activity here first. Just to get you to know a little bit, and as I said, it's fully anonymous. Maybe you could quickly share with us what industry you're from and what your main background is there, maybe. So first answers come in. Interesting. Waste to energy, lots of renewable, not of thermal, sorry, wrong color there. So I think most of the answers are coming in here. Wow, Marco, in the trial run with just a few of us, it was a little bit more quiet there. So it's great. Thanks for participating. I will share those results now. So last chance to click and it's over. Yes, we can see. Interesting. So lots of thermal, of course, renewable, waste to energy, also education and other. So if you like, you can put something in the chat box, what your personal interest is. And let's make sure that you get the information here today that you are looking for. And so let's finish that survey here. And I think now it's time to get going. Right, we had this part that you are not recorded at all. That was important for the housekeeping here. And now let us go to some slide. Let me quickly change it here, because I can see some of you know us very, very well and could also give that presentation here right now, but others might not know why our experience is relevant. And I will quickly take only 3-4 minutes to give you a flavor of what STEAG stands for in the world. And we will also see our Indian colleagues, for example, and on the map soon, which also joined us here today. So I'm very glad we have such a good participation here today. So the topic, manage energy assets from an eagle's perspective. Really high level, easy spotting if something is wrong, and then have somebody take action there. Now we'll keep it super brief here in the PowerPoint. We will go to the live demonstration with Joshua in 5 minutes from now.
Yes.
So just for you to know, it's not the three of us that had a great idea last week, and we are trying to convince you that we know how to operate your power plant. No, that is the experience that STEAG has gained in international projects around the whole world in about 80 years now, from planning power plants, from building power plants, from operating power plants, And that whole knowledge is then shared within the group. And also in our department is responsible for providing digital solutions, which are addressed to power plants, to wind farms, to planning offices, to universities. Those are digital solutions that are made from engineers like Joshua, like Simon, for engineers like you in the audience here. STEAG, for those that don't know, we have more than 6,000 employees worldwide currently. We have more than 100 gigawatts of capacity that's optimized with our digital solutions, and also currently more than 11 gigawatts of capacity under operation and maintenance contracts that we have with own personnel around the globe. And our digital footprint here, you can see in Europe, more than 50 gigawatts monitored, Middle East, India, many projects in India, many colleagues in India as well. And also, of course, Southeast Asia and China. Actually, I'm glad I can help in that region currently. It's very lively, much is going on, and it's really impressive what energy we have there. And so you see, that's the track record, of course, and I think we will even see more growth in the international projects in the next month and years here for sure. Just for you to see again, this is not something that was just made up yesterday. We have our systems, our solutions belong to like a package, the SR suite, and that can be applied to different scenarios with the same modules and different solutions there. So for the boiler cleaning management, for the coal-fired plants, more than 60 gigawatts already in use currently. Predictive maintenance, something that Josh will address soon, more than 25 gigawatts currently that are using and benefiting from our solutions. Lifetime monitoring, almost 60 gigawatts. Root cause analysis, 30 gigawatts, and so on and so on. More than 20 countries, and that is also reflected in the participants here that I can see today. So, very quickly, what are the digital solutions? Yes, on the left-hand side, we see they take the owner's perspective, to really see what is good for the asset, what is good for the owner's revenue, that is put into the main focus here. Combine that with O&M best practices. You don't have to explain us what a power plant is. We will join you for a discussion to see what your specific unit needs to benefit the most. And since we have so many internal projects and projects for our customers, we can take the effort to have cutting-edge digital systems. One company, one engineer will not have the manpower to develop all of that. So that is the benefit if you join us, if you join the expert family, to really ensure that availability can be maximized, that the plant load factor and efficiency can be improved, that maintenance costs can be reduced, and that unplanned outages can also be avoided. And we will see that was theory now, so we keep it short. Josh will show us how that looks in the real world pretty soon. In this picture here, I will keep it short. We have different modules, different solutions, different processes, and processes of the customer as well. To have such a system that Josh will show us, you have to know what to do with the information. Many of our customers, and some are here today, they are bigger. They have a couple of plants, a couple of units, and there's typically 1 or 2 or 3 guys that are responsible full-time or part of their job to really take care of that information and be that bridge into the actual world, to have some real colleague take a wrench and fix something. That is so important. It's not just something somewhere in the cloud and the people don't know what it is. Transparency and utilization is so important for us. And the roof here of the little picture, turn insights into actions. And that's what I asked Josh today to also focus on. When he sees something, to share with us what happens then. Do you take the phone? Do you send an email? Do you take the wrench? That is what we want to learn today from the projects. I will not go into those numbers here, but just an idea for you to see, if you apply those things that we show you today, you can have actual savings. Some are just 1,000 euros a day, but for a full year or a couple of years, that adds up. Or other things where we can prevent a shutdown. If you multiply those numbers by what you have on the market in terms of energy sold already and coal and all those unexpected costs, we have made those numbers with our customers there, and they add up pretty fast early on. Let's just look at the bubble in the middle. Oftentimes the payback period is 1.5 years or less. Okay, almost coming to an end here. Exactly. Josh, that's already your first slide, but before we go there, let's have a look back at the cameras, see if everybody's still doing fine, and if there are any questions already. So let's take a moment, and then you can fully get started there, please.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction, Dennis. So I can't see any question. So let's begin. What I want to show you is our live system. So everything what you can see now is what we also would do in a daily business. I will take our own company's asset, so we can show you the data we know, and we are allowed to give you some insights there. And first of all, I would like to present to you our newest member of our family, which is the SR Viewport. So data is a lot about communication as well, about visualization, and we want to present the data in an easy way to you, and that you can check your data fast and have short insights about how your plant is running, what is going on there, and therefore we developed the SR Viewport. It is an online tool, so you can open it within your browser. We even have an app for it. The only requirement is that you are connected to your plant or to your server via VPN also. And yes, so let me share my screen, and then we can start with the first insight.
Yeah, Josh, if I may add, I found the app in the Android App Store, and it took only a minute to install it. But I assume if a company wants to connect that to their power plant network, I think a minute will be not enough, right?
Yeah, it might be a little bit
effort.
complicated, but we want to help you and assist you. So if there's any question, please feel free to ask. Of course, you require the SR Viewport or the SRX behind. But yes, you should be able to see my screen now.
And Josh, since I see a couple of existing customers here in our participant list, maybe we should send some good message ahead. How expensive is that for existing customers with current software version to get that? Awesome thing that you will share with us now.
For the current customers or for the
wrong connection. I will take the
current version. It is all free. So
there he is. Good. Yeah, right. It is an extra option for those that have the current version. So
exactly.
If you don't have it yet, reach out to your service contact, and we can help you to get that going within days.
Exactly.
So
from release 2020 onwards, we have the SR Viewport inside, and all of you who have the newest version receives also the Viewport, so you can use it. Yes. So for me, the Viewport is a good opportunity to talk to our customers, to talk to plant leasers, to asset owners. So what you can see here is we've collected several examples from different assets. We've got different power plants. If you own a company or if you own several plants, you would see those all here. So what we wrote down as a thermal plant, wind farm, so on, would be on your screen, your first unit, second unit, and then you could see all the relevant information here. And yeah, so let's imagine I'm talking to the owner of a wind farm, or I own even one. Then I would like to see all the relevant information at one site. So let us jump in. And here we can see the production of our wind farm, some performance indicators, and the turbine condition. We can directly see what is our current production. You can see the first farm is producing 35 megawatts. The second one is producing 12. It's a little bit smaller, but I guess you can get the point here. So now for the leaderboard, it will be interesting to see how the production is going on. So I will click directly into the wind farm gross power. There I will receive some more information, and that might be a lot of information currently on that screen. So let me explain it to you. What you can see on the top screen is the wind farm production of the last 24 hours. You can directly see what we produced, what the average of the wind turbine is. We can always open up such of a legend, so you can see the actual values. You can open it to receive some more information about it. We've got the most important key figures here. And also what is, of course, interesting is our daily production, our monthly and yearly production. And below we can find also some monthly revenues. So we can see how much money do we earn here, how much losses do we have due to the turbine status and the turbine condition, which might be not as good as it is been promised by by the factory. And yes.
Josh, is that all like hard coded? Does everybody have to work with exactly this kind of view, or how does that work?
You can directly insert it, and we can choose what we want to see. So you can choose the data which is coming in here. You can produce your own viewport. It is up to you, and we can help you to create your own view about your asset. Also, the links behind the different pages, it's all up to you, and you can create such a view for yourself. So yes, that is said. So we've got an overview about the production, which is important for me to tell maybe in the leaderboard, how good is our plant running, how much do we produce. And as I said before, you can even check it in the morning before your coffee if you want to know how your plant is going currently. And yes.
So Josh, allow me one question, because we said it's about you and your experience. How much time in the morning do you spend on coffee? But be careful, our bosses are listening. So maybe let me rephrase it. How much time do you spend on looking at this data every morning?
Less than I spend on my coffee. So let's say it's about 5 minutes per project, because we receive some emails if something changes, if we detect something. So it's a really fast insight if we require to. We can see the changes of the plant at 2 or 3 clicks. So that will be not much work to do here. And it's just typing in the browser link, open it, do some clicks, and then we can see all the information which is displayed here.
Great.
So yeah,
that's a good point for our audience. In case you have something similar today already in use, you might want to put something in the chat box so Simon can share with us later on. I think that is only the tip of the iceberg here. We have a very condensed view as I get it here, but for sure the other data will be available for deep analysis. So even if something looks strange to you, you might not spend hours, but also maybe another 5 minutes to find out what the reason was and what action is needed, right?
Yeah. So it is relatively fast for me to see everything, and also, as I said before, it's about communication. So here we've got a view which I would typically discuss with an owner of a farm, but for me as an engineer, I would like to go even a step further. So the technical specifications are for me the most important part, and if I want to see those, I could also open some views about what we experienced here. So in the background, we've got some results from our solutions, from the SI post, from the SI-SPC. I will talk about that later. And we can even display the results of those here inside. So let me jump in. Now, this view here is about turbine production. It is about how much each turbine produces, how good is each turbine. You can see on the upper screen for each turbine the production. We can see the operating status like before. And if I want to see now in some more details, I could also dive in here. So this view might be a little bit confusing, so let me explain it. In a wind farm, we've got several turbines, and the most important for those turbines is a so-called power curve, which you can see here. We've got a bright red line here, which is what the turbine should produce, and we've got also some slight blue indicators in behind, which is actual measured values. You can see we've had recently a small jump in the data here, so it goes one time frame up. It's all online, and yeah, let me scroll down so that we can see if there's any turbine with less efficiency. So as I can see, this one might be even a little bit better than it should be, but no turbine with a less good condition. I would see it directly if the points are under the red line, so that is important for me. And then if I detect something like that, I would directly call the customer, take the phone, or write an email so that we can discuss it in an early stage. If we detect some changes, then we want to communicate with our customer. and see what we can do here.
But yeah, sure. You seem to be like a more of a laid-back person in general. What if something urgent happens here and you have to inform them immediately? What time of a time frame do you have? How easy can you take it until you take the phone? How much warning time is there? That's maybe my question.
Yeah. A good question. So usually we generate for the SISPC also, we generate daily values or alarms. So in the morning I would receive those. If something goes directly wrong within 5 minutes, it will be difficult to tell our customers in time. But usually you can detect some changes, some creeping of vibrations or so on. So that is one thing we can directly warn about. And usually we have enough time to warn our customers. There will be some days left until something happens. So usually that something shuts down immediately is relatively selten. Verdammt. Sorry, my English.
It's rare, of course.
It's rare. Thank you.
Simon, did I just see something pop up in the chat here?
Yes, there's a question about how is the visualization looking for the thermal plants. Maybe you can show us something about that later. That would be great for all the thermal guys. And there's another question I've seen at the moment. So you've talked a lot about the visualization of the whole data, and the question is, do the customers need additional measurements, or do they need additional equipment, or can you say something about that, Joshua?
So usually in our projects, we do not want to require more measurements than there are available. So we do not want to take our customers and tell them create some thermal measurements inside there or so. We take what we have, and this gives us already good results. So it's quite uncommon that we require more measurements than there are available. So usually you don't need to extend your plant and buy some new equipment. Also, yes, of course, I can switch to the thermal plant. Let me go directly there. So back to the overview. As I said before, we can directly jump into our assets, and then I can head over here to the thermal plant. Let me go in. It's just a small example from our demo system. It's an old plant of ours, so it might be not that extensive like you are used to be. Quite similar to what we've seen before. We produce here also the gross power, the unit key figures. Can also extend it here. So net power boiler efficiency, and so on. And let me go just one click a little bit deeper inside the data. So as we can see here again, we've got some gross power. We've got the production online. We can see here that we run on coal, which is good, as oil might be a little bit more expensive. And we could also, quite similar to the turbines, extend here to the component status.
I think the layout also depends on the device that you have in your mind, right? If you think of a phone, it might be a different data that you choose than compared to a tablet or like a big screen. So I think the flexibility here is helpful as well.
So yes, it is with those squares. It depends on your screen size. You can choose what device you're on and scale it down or up. And yes, most important for me would here be also what I can see directly here is it's 82%, which is the air preheater performance. Usually I would expect it to be around 100. So that is one thing I would now directly check. Why is the air preheater so bad? We lose 18% of efficiency, which costs money, which costs efficiency. And that is something I would find out, or I would like to find out. Yes. So maybe that is a good point to get you introduced to where the data is coming from. So, Dennis, any questions?
I think before we go there, maybe where the data can go is also something that I can see here.
Yes.
Is that Simon, what is that?
Yes, there's a question where not where the data is coming from, where the data can go. The question. So, is it possible to make an export of the data, maybe to Excel or an ASCII file or something like that?
Yeah, we have several options. So it is your data. You can write it back to any system you want. We've got Excel, of course. We've got a Pi connection currently developed, which is good for a visualization. If you already have a system, we can use that as well. And we can always write back our data to you so that you can see the changes of your plant and that you can receive all the relevant information which we produce within our projects. So up to you. We can write ASCII files, Excel, Pi, OPC, whatever you want to have. It's up to you.
I think this will answer the question very well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. It's like 25 minutes going on already, so maybe we can start the next part now to make sure we are still on time.
Let me try to share.
I'm sure that is what our audience will expect from a group of German engineers to be on time, more than everything.
Yeah. I will try to. So next thing, which is more in use of me than the Viewport, because it is more technical orientated. The Viewport is for data visualization, but within our projects, there's a little bit more than just plain visualization. And some of you might know that we offer various tools. One of the SPC, which you can find here, SRSPC. What you can see here, it is an application to supervise anomalies and to prevent failure of parts of your plant. So what we do is we train an artificial intelligence, to generate a so-called digital twin. And then we compare the digital created value with the original measured values inside your plant. Also, there are some statistical methods behind it. So we guarantee that we have reliable warnings and that you do not receive any faulties. So that is something we can nearly guarantee you. Okay, let's dive in. I will open, just like right before, the coal-fired plant. What you can see here is an example of different assets. So my daily business would be to have a look on this view here to see if I can find any changes, to detect if there is any specific part of the plant which is in danger. You can see we grouped it to feed water pumps, to turbine condenser, forced draft fan, and so onwards. Then if I find something, I will communicate with our end customer. I would also receive an email notification, so that nearly guarantees that I can see all the changes and to see on a daily basis if something happens here, and I will directly see it. What we have to tell you here is we've got two options to create such of an artificial intelligence. We can either use advanced machine learning methods. It is called supervised learning. And there we can automatically create such of a huge ensemble of different artificial AI models. And the only thing what you have to do is you have to insert the measurements which you want to supervise. And then you have to set the training period. And that's it. You have finished. Then you will have to calculate, or let the system calculate then, and we receive the results soon after. The other way, or the other option, is for engineers or for experts who know their plant very well. We call that high quality approach, as we build the model on our own. It is a supervised learning. I'm not quite sure if I said unsupervised or supervised before. So supervised would be we decide what input values we want to see, what neurons there are, and we would directly create such of a model on our own. What is important here to know is you do not require any data science pre-knowledge, the system helps you and assists you. But if you have some, we've got always the chance to change some parameters to create it on your own. So you are free to create models which fit your desire.
So before we dive into the detail, just for orientation, we saw those 5, 6, 7,000 KPIs before. Now we are on one server, one unit, one local machine connected to Pi or DCS.
Exactly.
Here you have now, I think on the top is the machine learning part, and the other ones are more high quality based. Yeah. Not all of them, but okay, just for orientation here, we're not talking about the fleet right now. Like right now, the Eagle is not like super high in the stratosphere. Currently, the Eagle is
a little bit lower, yes.
Hopefully, it's like an Eagle or something. And good.
Yeah. So let's load some data and let me show you that. So first of all, I would like to start with the machine learning system. It might take some time to calculate and to get all the data inside. So what we can see here on the left side, on the y-axis, we've got, I guess it's 750 measurements, all compressed to one view. So in between, I hope you can see my indicator here, are many measurements. We do not display all of those, but they are all behind. And on the x-axis, we've got the time. And what you can see here are different colors. It is marked in or indicated in green if everything is good with the plant, and in red if there's any anomaly.
So Josh, please, what is the full time frame that we see here right now from left to right, and what is this gray area that's just in the middle of the screen, please?
We can see 2 years of data here. So from left side to right side, it is 2 years. It's a little bit an older data frame or data set, as it is one of our plants where we can use the data. But I guess it's quite a good example. The grayish parts here is an overhaul of the plant or in downtime where we do not want to calculate. So if the plant is not running, we do not want to generate any warnings because that makes no sense. So you can see here we've got some short time frames where the plant is not running and one longer time frame in the middle.
Could you just show us how you do it on a morning basis? Let's say after you had your coffee with the 5 minutes of the dashboard, how would you analyze like an error? Maybe the one that is pretty red there in the middle.
Let's head in just one here in the middle. So I would see those red frames, and I would do just this small click in here. And now that might be some kind of an expert view, but let me give you some a short introduction to it. So what you can see here is the so-called Shua chart. For us, it is the easiest way to detect if something changes. Maybe you can find out as well for yourselves where it is. What we can do here is we can see some deviations. And you can see everything is good. And then at that time frame, you can directly see it. At that point, something happens. And that is one view, what I would like to see, what I would check for. Are there any deviations? Can I see if something goes wrong? And as you might notice, we've got some red marks here and we can directly see it. So let's check together what happens here. Let me scroll down. And what I can see here, it's a relatively good example, is there we've got a pressure measurement from the hot reheat steam, and it drops down at that time frame here. So you can see it goes downwards, then we've got a small time with less pressure on it, and then it's up again during the overhaul. So something obviously changed here. Let me head back over to the Shua chart. And here we could indicate that something changes. So that is one view I would see in the morning. I would see, oh, there's something red. I would check it. And then I would grab the phone or do some data analysis to see where that comes from. So I want to check if I can find any issue in the data, or otherwise I would talk to our partners, to our customers about what happens here. Yes. Good. Any questions so far?
So at the moment, I can not see any questions from the audience, but just to remember all of you, if there is anything not clear, please feel free, use the chat, and we can try to answer your questions.
I would have one for now. That was the automatic, the unsupervised KPI that we see here. What if you go for deeper analysis, you find exactly out how that all works together? Can you simply just make a high quality one as well, or would that then somehow interfere with what you have here already?
I could always create some HQ KPIs in between or beneath, because that could also help us. So for the HQ KPIs, we can always see which data goes inside, and we've got direct knowledge about the modeling behind, which makes an analysis more easy for us. So what we would do, for instance, as well, if we have some warning in the machine learning system, we would create, based on that, an HQ KPI directly for that measurement here. So I would see if I can find out what are the most important impact values to that part of your plant, and then I would create such of a high quality KPI out of it.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Shall I show you one of those? Or is,
let's have a look at the clock, like 20 minutes remaining. Maybe a high quality one would be nice now, just for, for contrast there, to see both worlds.
Yes, so let me head back. I hope you can wait a second. I guess I lost the view here.
Yeah, take your time.
Yes, yes. 1 second.
Right.
Maybe we can take the time gap where Joshua is reloading his screen. Maybe Dennis can answer one question. Sure. Here's coming a question from the audience about a trend and trend prognosis.
Oh yeah.
Is it possible with the SPC, or can you say something about this?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, looking into the future is one of those features that the standard SPC is using for many years already. We would have like limits that we want to keep an eye on. For the lifetime monitoring, we use this function to say how long do I have remaining? Yeah, is something is happening? Maybe a filter is getting clogged over time, and yeah, it's impossible for all systems to say exactly next month on the Monday 7 o'clock. But it's possible to say, well, it's more, if it goes on like this, the trend goes on like this, it will be like 3 days and you have a problem, or you have 3 months until you have a problem. I think that is what Josh and his colleagues need them to really ensure that, let's say if you know it now and you know there's in 2 weeks maybe a maintenance stop, you can just schedule it without any headache there. And I think that is this time frame that why you can be so relaxed based on such a system, because you get this warning time ahead, this reliable warning. Yeah, you're not worrying. Maybe another question, Josh. How many alarms per day do you have to process there? Because I think that is key to say how reliable does it have to be, and how much of a headache, how much of a stress that would be for you.
So of course it depends on your asset. If you have a power plant which is changing or which is fluctuating really strong,
say like a normal condition, like something is wrong once in a while, how many alarms per day you have to sort through?
That should be once a week or so, but it does not happen really often.
Yeah.
And also what I said before, if I receive a warning, usually there is something in the plant, and it gives us a benefit and gives us time ahead to react on that. So it's always, if I receive a warning, I would take the phone and talk to our customer, talk to our partners, because then we would like to find out fast what changed here and what happens. And maybe also try to figure out... Sorry?
Maybe please go on, sorry.
Yeah. So that we can figure out together what we can do now and how we can react.
See, I'm just asking, one customer once was asking, like, how do you prioritize those alarms that come in every day? How do you assign somebody to take care of that? How do you know if you want to take action? I had problems to understand them. And so we figured out he was talking about something where those experts like Josh would get 200 alarms per day, and then they have to sort them through and find out what's actually going on. And then I understood why this question came up. And I said, yeah, when an email comes, Josh will act. Yeah, he will not do it immediately, drop everything, but same day or something like that. Have a look at that, forward that, and then it's done. That's why I wanted to have this clarity here again. Like, is it like hundreds per day or 1 or 2 or 3 a week? Right. So
we are talking about 1 or 2, definitely, not 200. That might be a little bit.
Thank you for clarifying that.
So yeah. In general, my daily business would be to check it for 5 minutes or so. It's not much time which I spend daily for checking the system or how I can use it. It is just one email in the morning or so, but not much.
So maybe that is the right point to have a look at this high quality KPI.
Let me scroll downwards.
Thank you.
Let me show you one of our typical KPIs. As I find it quite convenient, let's take the flue gas preheater. There we've got some increasing trend, like you've seen before. We've again the Shua chart. It indicates that something happens here. You can see it begins here and it goes upwards. We could even generate a warning earlier onwards, but there's still enough time here. So let's see what we have in the data behind. Let me scroll downwards. And what you can see here is directly you can see again the original measured value in this brighter blue color, and in a darker blue color is the value which has been created by our artificial intelligence. And you can see some increasing values in this area here. I hope you can see my indicator, which we have detected, which is cyclic fouling. We can warn you in advance. A typical finding would also be for gas turbines, the filtering system, which is polluted or gets polluted over the time. And then we would give you a warning. Maybe we've got also the option to do some trend diagnosis to calculate how much time is left until the filter is blocked to a relatively bad value.
Exactly an example of the question we just had with the trend function there, because with the cyclic fouling, please show me where like a fixed limit would make sense. I don't see any, since it's changing by default all the time.
Yes,
so it's good you pick that. So maybe that answer is even more clear what we had 5 minutes before.
So we have here the DCS warning bound. So the upper bound where the DCS system will generate a warning. But you can see we've got in the beginning of 2010, and then we reach the point where it really gives us a warning. We've got some fluctuations above. So here it would also generate a warning, but there has nothing happened. And our system would give us an early onwards warning in the end of 29, I guess. As I said, it's an older plan of us. We can use the data, but the system or the process stays the same. So that is for the high quality KPIs. We can detect what we want to see here. We can choose what input values we use for creating that neural network, and then we can generate some reliable warnings out of it. So SBC is not only about artificial intelligence, it is also about some statistical methods behind, which are one of the biggest parts of it.
So in the beginning, I showed our different modules. For example, our Epsilon thermodynamical first principle based tool there. Is it something totally different, or can you combine that with those methods here, with the trend prognosis and so on? Or even third-party systems that customers might already have? Could you share with us what that
is a good question. So if you have a third-party system like Epsilon, where we use thermodynamical calculations, we create a simulation of your whole plant. You can also use that and use that as input values. We use artificial intelligence to speed up the process. It takes some time to create a whole simulation of a power plant. But if you already have something like that, of course we could use it as well, and then use the statistical methods behind to generate warnings and detect if there's any change. So you can combine all the systems, put the data in, and use that as well. Good.
Yeah, I mean,
There's coming one question. There's a problem with the system, I think, at the moment. So one person is asking if the other guys are hearing us. Maybe one of you can type into the chat
right.
if you can hear us, or if all of you have the problems.
So maybe
It's
let's
like-
head back. I will stop
Like
sharing my
lifetime
screen.
monitoring here. Yeah, so is everybody still alive? We hear you. Great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
All right.
It's a relief. Great.
Good.
So looking at the clock again, you know, I try to stick to our schedule here. Maybe now it's time to summarize a little bit what you saw there in your, like you prepared a couple of ideas to share in general to finish up. And Josh, I know how much you're suffering because you want to show us so much more. But of course, I can invite you and also the audience. If somebody says, "Oh, that was just a little bit," there must be more. Let us know. We have a private online meeting soon again with those colleagues or even more. That is maybe even the upside currently of the Corona situation. Just having a meeting online is no problem, and we can have a private chat anytime if it's interesting. So yes.
So 1 hour is not enough to dive really into the details here. But, of course, we can offer to talk to you in person. Great. If you have any question or if you want to, we can also arrange a meeting later onwards. Good. So yes, let's head back to the slides, I guess. Let me see. There we are. Mm-hmm. Should be online now.
Yes, it works.
So yeah, some of our thoughts behind. So if we are talking about data, it's also a question, how much data do we have? So in general, I would say we've got 6,000 measurement points in an average plant. So that would be an average coal-fired plant or gas-fired turbine. In our biggest assets, we've got 100,000 measurements, and we collect them. We take them every 5 minutes, and over a year, that would be 10 billion data reference or data points, which I find quite impressive. So I wanted to write it down here. And the task now is to supervise most of those, which is difficult for a plant owner or for the staff who has to do also their daily business to steer the plant or so on. And for that, we created those solutions. We compress those measurements downwards to the most important ones. And that is the key behind SISPC, behind the EPOS system. And yeah, so maybe a few ideas from our side how we can use this data. So let's talk about you store your data and what can we do with it. Generally, we want to prevent downtime with our systems. We can see if there changes something, and then we can take action. But we could also use it to optimize your asset, to see can we change something, can we use it in any other way possible, and we can also generate new opportunities. If you can see, I can get my plant upwards to 1 or 2% more power output, which would be a lot. Then we could take that also into the market and see if we can get some gains there on that point. From a data science point of view, what we usually do during our projects, be it based on thermodynamical simulations or plain on artificial intelligence, first step is always you collect your data, you save it, you store it, and then we have to do something with it. So we create a model, an AI, a neural network, or so on. We analyze it, and then the most important part, which the engineers sometimes forget, is we have to communicate it and we have to visualize it, and we should use it. We should talk to our partners. We should talk to different experts and see what we can do with it. And then we can take action. We can change our plant according. We can use it to prevent some failures, and we can make the most of the stored data. If we just put it behind, that would be sad, because we save so much of it, and we have to take it anywhere. Good. Sorry. So this one here is about our common projects. What we like to do here is we take your original measurements, as we discussed earlier onwards. We do not want to change your plant. We do not want to get you new measurements. We take what you have, compress this data, create a model, detect deviations, and then we talk about to you about the warnings. There are some steps in between, but usually our projects look always like that. We try to understand data, we try to use it, and we try to figure out what we can do with it. So next slide here. Here, what you've seen before on the left side is our SRSBC, as I've shown you. On the right side, which might be also new to some of you, is the SRE-POS. SRE-POS is based on the thermodynamical simulations, and you can see directly where something goes wrong. We've got the condenser here. I hope you can see my indicator. Maybe not.
Not so well right now, but yeah, the red spot on the right side of the screen, right?
All right. So we can see if something changes, and those are just two different views for it. We can do that for gas turbines as well as for any other asset you might have. So that might be some views which you have to work on, or which you can work on. And yeah. So also we talked a lot about email warnings, about see it in the morning, and as it is one of the biggest parts of our project, I wanted to show you a little bit of what I would receive here. So that is the first part of it. You can see on the left side, again, the Shua chart. We can see on the right side, on the last time frame, we've got some red indicators, which is for me interesting. So I would receive it, and I would dive into what happened here, would want to see if there are any changes in the plant where I have to react, and communicate that then with the customer. So a little bit in the data before I talk to the customer, but then we usually do it together. It's also important for us to work close together with our customer. So we've got projects all around the globe, and I definitely can't get into a Chinese plant within 1 hour. So I rely on the customer to talk to us, to see what they experienced in their plant, to see or to hear if they have any issue they know already. So we work really close with our partners and our customers to see what we can do here. Good.
Maybe that's even worth clarifying there when you say we do that in a project. I think of what you have in mind is like you, your colleagues, the customer, our partners on site. That is typically a very close team over time. We also call it the expert family because people with similar problems like today can learn from each other, see how different companies solve those things, and really be more efficient there to solve those things for themselves. And those partners locally in Poland, in China, in Southeast Asia, without those partners currently it would be very difficult. But since we have those local people that can be with the customer together, we all meet online, and it's efficient, it works. To be honest, it was nicer before to be really in person together, but it still works like that because we have this close partnership with the customers and our local partners there. So that is what you, am I right? Yeah, when you say like we, the team is this international group of experts working together and delivering awesome results there.
Exactly. So I need to talk to our customers. I can't do it on my own, just based on data. We want to work close with our partners. We want to get into the details here. And yes, maybe one of my last slides, just to repeat again, the project philosophy. We have no additional measurements. We work close together with our partners, and we've got some solutions which we developed over the years. We've got many projects where we received some knowledge and we developed over the time, and we want to give you the best solution as possible as it can be. And yes, so as it comes to an end right now, I guess I would like to give some time for some questions as well.
Yeah, let us look at the clock. Maybe I can give the invitation already, and then we have some more 15 minutes or so for questions and answers afterwards. Maybe some people have to leave on time, but everybody's invited. So let me show you the last one here. I like this yellow box in the middle. Yeah, challenge us with your data. That does not mean everybody should just send random data and we will try to find something out. No. If it makes sense, we can together have a look, maybe have some offline analysis there to find out, is this tool really the best solution for your problem there? That can be done in a discussion over 1 to 3 weeks. That can even be done as a first step. If we have to take deeper effort there, then maybe a small project even makes sense for the customer really to evaluate, first of all, is that what I want, what I need? It's a complex issue. It's sophisticated. So we really want to help customers to understand what it does and what value it has there. So if you have this in mind, let's talk afterwards. Let's have a meeting with the experts and find out what that means for you. Also at the bottom here, that was today a great start. So I already thank you everybody for joining, for being so lively in the chat, to give us the chance to interact. That's so important, yeah, not to be alone here and you don't even know if somebody's still available or your connection broke down like an hour ago. So if you liked it, let us know. If you had some issue, any question, put us also some feedback there. Send me an email. My address was there. You will find our LinkedIn profiles easily. Just get in touch. Let us know what you need and we will take care of that next time there. So yes. And as I said again, to come back to what the beginning was, yeah, the asset profitability, yeah, to really, why is there a power plant here? Because it is supposed to make the electricity, and we want to support that process there on a high level there, and on a high level of comfort also for the experts as today in the audience there. So my biggest fear was that we would not be on time. We are very good right now, so let us finish that official part right now. Thank you very much, everybody. And now let's switch to the Q&A part, which we can do here for another 10-15 minutes without a problem. And so, yes, thank you, Josh. Thank you, Simon. Let's go back to the camera here and let's see what kind of questions we already have and what is coming in here. And as I said, let us know if you liked it and what you want to see in the future. And for the fall, we are currently preparing like this energy week idea. We're currently really working that out in detail, to have customers presenting to us, to have what we typically had in the past in an in-person meeting. We will find some solution for the current year, for the current situation, on person reports there and so on. So stay tuned if you're interested in that, to really have some connection to the experts around the globe. And so maybe Simon, back to you. What else is up? What else can we do for our audience?